All right, guys, Anthony here, Service. Got James's truck here, 05. We're gonna do a little diag on it. 267,000 miles. I guess it leaks oil. Just never had a diag on it. He wants to just give it a little checkup. Let's see what's going on. All right, we got a couple of codes here. Looks like oil pressure switch, so that very well could be the oil leak. Who knows? I haven't even looked under it yet. I wonder if it ever not started, because normally it'll throw a crankshaft code whenever, if some reason it doesn't start, or if the batteries are low and you're cranking it and it's doesn't have enough power to fire, it could throw a cam code. Or we could be looking at a cam sensor with intermittent issue. EBP sensor looks like we might be low on power, low on boost, and then we got number 3 glow plug. So let's clear them out. Okay, so EBP volts actually don't look too bad. I mean, 0.87 is not too freaking bad. Maybe it was disconnected at one time, who knows. Let's kick it off and let's see what freaking we're doing. We got a vacuum leak too. Vacuum pump's been running the whole time. 48, it's staying there. Now let's watch FICM at the top of the screen and IPR percentage at the bottom. We don't want to see the FICM drop down. We don't want to see IPR go to 84. Here we go. Oh yeah. It went up high and it's cranking really slow. Yeah. We got a freaking oil leak. Let's see how it starts. Let's see how it looks. Number 1, number 8. Looks like number 8 first, and from number 8 being low for who knows how long, it's taking number 1 with it. There's number 8 really dry. Oh, just cleared up. Look at number 3 isn't looking so hot either. Damn, it's cold in here. Okay, so number 8 be the first culprit. Maybe do number 8 and let the rest ride if you want, and then number 1 and number 3 in one trip. But number 8 looks like the bigger culprit. Look at number 3 not looking so hot. It is fairly cold, 66 degree coolant, 55 degree oil. IPR is a little high. I'm gonna go ahead and pull it in. Let's get it inside and look for an oil leak, because it's too cold to do any kind of IPR test, so hang on. Okay, so the oil pressure switch is leaking, but I don't think it's the big leak. That oil soak sensor right in the middle. Okay, so we got a couple of leaks here, but let's I'll run down them. I'm letting it run a little bit, let it get a little warm, get some temperature in it, and we can crawl around it in a minute, because it's been sitting outside cold. So we'll go ahead and let it warm up, and then I'll go through with the engine off, and we'll point out the little spots. I haven't looked at the rear main yet. What we'll do is just pop the inspection cover and look up there, and if there's trails running around, we should be able to see it. But we've got bed plate leaking. Looks like the cam sensor's leaking. The oil pressure switch might be leaking a little bit, but it's not leaving any drips as of right now, but we'll let it run for a minute. Okay, so if you look at this sensor right here, that black sensor, the black pigtail right in the middle of the screen, that's the oil pressure switch. If you look at the bottom of it, it's all nasty, and it's wet up the wire. I know you can't really see nothing with that, but you can kind of see the wire being wet. Just get it out of the shadow right there. And with it being all, I imagine we disconnected, it probably will have oil down inside the connector. That's not the bad leak though. That won't leak a lot. I mean, once it goes bad, it'll leak a huge amount. Like, it'll break the truck down right now. You'll pump a gallon out in 10 minutes. The VGT pigtail is broken. It's broke. Let me just pull it off. So, pigtail's broke. The EBP sensor, we had a circuit malfunction. This K&N filter's junk too. Freaking junk. Let's look at this. Can't get to nothing with this. Let's see. Hang on, let me get in there. Can't even reach it. This is not studded. Oh, I'm not showing anything. Hang on. Let's see. And the wiring appears to be alright right now, but I haven't put to get this off. Yeah. This is not studded. It has an EGR cooler in place. Who knows if it's blocked off or not. Let's get underneath it. Okay, we're underneath it now. Let's look up here at the cam sensor. Right there. Cam sensor is obviously leaking. Which, now the downside to the cam sensor leaking is it very well could have a bed plate leaking also, but you won't be able to really tell because when the cam sensor leaks, the oil will run down the bed plate flange and will look like it's leaking. Hang on. Actually, let's go over here and look at the crank sensor. Crank sensor is, let me get the picture. Oh, I can't see it. I can see it with my eyes, but I can't really get it with the video. Can't get it. You can see it wet around the oil pan. That is the crank sensor right in, about in the middle of the screen right there, in between the oil pan leaking, right above the leaking oil pan is the crank sensor. It doesn't really look like it's too wet, but it also, the bed plate looks like it's leaking along for the whole perimeter of yeah, all the way down it. So hang on. Okay, we've got a leak coming down. It's actually dripping down the exhaust. Looks like it's coming from, could be from up higher. Let's look. Valve cover, glow plug, something like that. Let me see if I can get, hang on, let me see if I can get turned around. Okay, we really don't want to think rocker box, but let's go up here and look. Very well could be glow plugs. That's a glow plug harness right there. The rocker box connection is right below the glow plug. Let's see, doesn't really look like valve cover. I don't know, it could be valve cover. Just a potential leak. I mean, all along the bed plate's wet and nasty. Which, that's what sucks about having a cam sensor leaking too. You got the dipstick right there, and it's, see, it's running from the top right there down along it. So what we're gonna do now is get all nasty and pull the inspection cover and look at see how much we can see of the rear main. Okay, now it could be leaking a little bit, but if you look right there, that's the flex plate is what we're looking at. Most of the time, if it's a rear main leaking, it will be leak. Let me see if I can get it to not focus on the rear cover. We're about to get the borescope out and look in there. That little gold piece that's dark now and light now, that gold piece is the adapter flange. That's at the rear main. And most of the time, if we got a rear main leaking, the flex plate would have streaks on it because it's leaking and flex plate's spinning around. So all along that flex plate would be streaked up, which You guys tell me. I mean, I'm not seeing much streaking at all. It looks pretty clean. But with that said, we look up there at it, and it doesn't look completely dry, but yeah, I mean, this would be a tough one right here, because I mean, I guess do the cam sensor first, but with how that looks right there, I mean, it's not far-fetched. The bed plate's leaking, oil pan looking like it's leaking a little bit. I mean, and the bonus would be it's not studded, so would almost be a candidate for a reseal, just because the fact if the bed plate is the major leak. I mean, I've been in this before where we could go in, do the cam sensor and do the oil pressure switch. It might lighten it up a little bit, but if it is the bed plate leaking and it's getting, and obviously it's worse, and it has dropped oil on here, so I mean, that's going to be that's a killer right there. I mean, it would be time to really consider just studding the engine, maybe doing a lifter job, because when we do a lifter job, it actually pulls the engine and reseals the entire engine. So that's a tough sell right there, but damn it. I mean, looks like we could probably get the oil pan off. It's just, in my opinion, it's not a really recommended repair to do an oil pan in chassis. I mean, it's just, I don't know. I mean, to go through all that, do the oil pan, and then have it be higher up, you know, freaking bed plate leak, which this would take a little more. We would want to clean it really good, get the hose out, clean it, and then just let it run in the bay, and let's see where it's coming from, which, you know, that's, I don't know. We'll see if we even do that right now. I don't know, because yeah, let's clean that sucker up and then just sit in here and watch it. Just watch for oil trails. I mean, but bummer. I don't know. Let me get out of here. All right, guys, I'm gonna go ahead and load this up because I need to use my phone for a minute. Decide whether or not we're gonna get all nasty and burn a case of brake clean on this thing. We can use hot water and clean it, but it only gets so good. We have to get in there more brake clean, and it's a nasty freaking job to get in there and get it all the way clean so we can look at it. So we'll get it all clean. If I get it done, if long as nothing else happens, I'll make another video and show the oil leak on it. But here I do a little initial diag video whenever I can check the oil cooler and all that stuff later, but right now I just want to see about getting it cleaned up. So that's it, James's diag video. Have a good day, guys.